super amusant! You have another one in you?
Midnight Club 2. This arcade racing gem of a game came out in 2003. Rockstar Games had just released Grand Theft Auto 3 a year and a half earlier, and this game focused on the vehicle aspects of GTA with tinges of violence on the fringes. I specifically stress arcade because, for whatever reason, Forza has taken over the racing genre, and I think that we need something better than
Ridge Racer!
I understand the necessity for simulation racing. I mean, there's gearheads out there that want to fine-tune existing vehicles that they'll never get their hands on with car parts that they'll never be able to afford. My point is that I don't know the difference between a Bugatti, Lamborghini, Ferrari. It's pronounced Porsche. That stuff doesn't interest me. Here's what interests me. See, this game is absolutely ridiculous in every regard. The whole concept is that you start with a racer car that you souped up in your dad's garage, and now you're ready to take on the underground racing scene. Moses, this fat Asian guy, races you for pink slips and becomes your mentor after you beat him. He then tells you to go around and race all the other racers in LA while slowly introducing new game mechanics. The game had just come out when Fast and the Furious was still beating in the hearts of audiences, and there was plenty of anticipation for Too Fast, Too Furious. NOS was ever present in the population's vernacular, which is likely why they introduced the nitrous boost in Midnight Club. The boost gave you an opportunity to accelerate to max speed, and if you could dodge all the obstacles on the road, you'd fly by all the other racers. My trigger finger would always be itching as soon as I came up to a ramp, but NOSing then wasn't always the wisest decision. The game also had different mechanics to navigating the city streets, including burnouts, weight transfer, and a shake and bake type mini boost which you got by tailing another racer. Weight transfer was generally only used to balance out in midair, but there were times when threading the needle was absolutely necessary. Otherwise, you're just risking a car flip for no other reason than style points, and the game was all about coming in first no matter how gracefully you actually did it. Something I found really cool about playing through this game again was how they introduced the characters you race. I mean, these head models are pretty sophisticated for their time. And hell, you wonder why Mass Effect Andromeda suffered so much fury and scorn? It's because this game came out 15 years before it. We must look back at the past in order to create a greater future. A lot of other racers in the game were specifically designed to get under your skin, and you could usually tell which ones based off of whether or not they had a pointy goatee. The racers would also chide you as you raced them, some of them being clever.
Your mother is so fat and ugly that when she comes to France, we send her to Belgium.
And some of them not so clever.
Hey, you are so stupid!
And others just inappropriate.
Arthur used to be a stunner. Nowadays, she's a right dog. Still, I reckon you'll give her a bone though, wouldn't you, mate?
But they also have racers that I think were designed for you to actually like. For example, near the end of your career in the starting city Los Angeles, they introduce your in-game waifu Gina. Gina immediately takes to commenting on your looks and encourages you to win throughout the rest of the game. You play through 3 separate cities, Los Angeles, Paris, and Tokyo, in that order. Each city contains specific landmarks that you tend to recognize as you mentally map the new landscape. The actual size of these maps are nowhere near the grandiose cities that Grand Theft Auto has grown into, but the races twist and turn throughout, giving you new objectives even when you're knocking into the same set pieces. I think my favorite city was Paris, simply because I'd studied it in high school, and because you're watching this video, you get to share this educational experience with me, aren't you so lucky? Le Louvre, Le Notre Dame, l'Arc de Triomphe, la Grande Rue de Paris, and of course, la Tour Eiffel. Ooh la la. It should be said that the game is set up to make sure that you don't win. Traffic seems to turn into you. The cops are always on your tail, and the other racers don't even seem to be interested in winning. But even when this game threw me for a loop, I still found myself just wanting one more race. You know, I'll get it next time. And there was a lot to be upset about in this game.
Speed seduction in the magazine, endless pleasure in limousine. In the back shakes a tambourine, nicotine from a silver screen. Speed seduction in the magazine, endless pleasure in limousine. In the back shakes a tambourine, nicotine from a silver screen. Speed seduction in the magazine, endless pleasure in limousine. In the back shakes a tambourine, nicotine from a silver screen.
If you mess up, well, here's you back at the beginning of the race. It doesn't take a lot to get back into it. And it allows you to forget when a bus decides to be a bus at the worst possible moment. Oh, you're in first? So what makes this game seemingly out to get you nature different from DK64, which I just reviewed? DK64 breaks flow. And this game is all about flow. I mean, this is the starting screen. It's silky smooth. And remember what I said about messing up? You just go back into the race. It's fine.
Simple. That's what makes the tango so great. If you make a mistake, get all tangled up, just tango on.
There's a few lessons that can be learned from this game. First off, anybody who actually does street racing is very likely to end up as Jerry the race car driver. And considering the assets on the sidewalk that would represent people eventually just become confetti pixels to any serious racer's eyes, we can all but rule out the violence of video games. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made it into the office last week because my car would be upside down with a wake of twisted metal and blood trails behind me. I'm really glad I went back to play this game again because it gives me hope for what racing games could be in the future. I don't need shells or bullets, and I don't need hyper-realistic tuning and turning. I just want a ridiculous game that has the guise of being serious while playing the jester beneath the veil. Midnight Club 2. Play this one. Won't regret it.